So as a recap, the coterie was looking down into the pit, in the city of Norwich, the hidden tower that they had discovered, when they realized the vampires which had defected to Ragna had appeared, along with their ghoul knights, began an assault on the Anarch forces and the Covenant School Knights. Ellen Alice spared a few of her gangrel to join the coterie in hunting Basileus while they held off the knights above ground. The coterie descended, and beneath, in the darkness, they landed in a kind of watery pit, almost like a bowl, surrounded by thousands of hungry rats. They met briefly with Basileus, who revealed himself in person, before several amongst the coterie tried to pursue him, finding that he was behind some kind of warded barrier, which had enclosed the coterie, and their movement prompted the rats to attack in swarms. And after a lengthy battle and a brutal fight, torturing Katya and Elenid, the coterie prevailed, Argyle resuscitating both with his own vitae, and some of them feeding on rats afterward. Eventually they broke this ward, although it cost them some time and a great deal of effort, descended down a spiral staircase, and found a long, stretching hallway with several rooms, one of which had some Nosferatu, apparently asleep or entranced somehow. The group quickly decided to murder and devour both, Argyle himself taking the heart from one and helping feed the coterie with it. The violence, of course, sending the handful of vermin and birds around them scattering into various holes in the wall. They made their way through the hallway and descended to yet another level. Now we open the scene to the group as they make their way to this third level. The hallway is very similar, almost identical, kind of arcing in this gentle circle. It is lit dimly by candles placed on small pedestals at distant intervals. As you walk, you see that it does seem that there are doors on this level as well, although there's many cavernous holes and tunneling in the walls. Most of these holes are too small for people. And a couple notes. Argyle, the Nosferatu, whose heart you ripped out, was a helpless stranger to you so far as anyone really knew. May as well have been coerced into coming down here. How high is your humanity?
6, but he's an enemy combatant, so far as anyone's aware.
Is he?
Yeah. We were told that everyone in the city was to be considered an enemy combatant.
But does that impact your morality?
Well, that feels like a storyteller ruling.
I'm going to say that without having asked him anything, without knowing anything about this man, and even finding out maybe if he was a prisoner, you don't really know anything. You just kind of ripped his heart out. So I'm going to call for a conscience check on that. Alright, 2 successes. Enemy combatants. Perhaps that's the justification you need. Or perhaps you do feel remorse on thinking back on it.
It's nothing more than a spy. Piloting animals. Watching over the city for Basileus' own gain.
These thoughts comfort you as you consider what you've done. Additionally, everyone that fed on the sewer rats, I will need stamina checks to resist the food poisoning that you're going to be feeling in a few moments. Standard difficulty.
With fortitude, yeah?
Fortitude if you have it, yes.
Does this count as a new scene from our interaction with the rats?
That's a botch.
That is a botch for Elenid. It is a new scene. We are in a new scene now.
Okay.
I don't think Nicholas fed on any dead rats.
Oh, Nicholas doesn't eat rats. That's gross.
Well, served you well here. Katya. Failure, Elenid, botch. So Katya, you're now starting to feel the vitae from those rats. It wasn't just disgusting going down. You feel it disgusting even in your veins. You're going to take a level of bashing, and there's going to be a kind of sickly taste in the back of your throat. Vitae no longer sounds very good to you. At least for right now. Elenid, with the botch, you also take a level of bashing and feel vehemently opposed to ingesting anything else, vitae or otherwise. So much so that you feel this kind of clot of old, coagulated, tainted rat blood kind of stick in your throat until you retch up an entire blood point, which actually comes up more as a solid than a liquid. Argyle, you're fine. You can handle this.
I don't know what the problem is.
Alright. The scene is otherwise yours. The hallway stretches onward, much like the level above you.
Since we're starting a new scene, does that mean blood expenditures, claws, and eyes are gone?
Yes. If anything that lasts for a scene has to be restarted if you want to start it again.
So how well lit is it down here?
As I said, dimly lit. There are candles on pedestals, but they're kind of distant. It's a far cry better than the blood bowl you landed in with the rats. You could see dimly. If you had to write something or read something, it'd be a bit of a challenge. Less so for someone like Nicholas, but you could get by. And as I said, there are doors up ahead, but there's also these cavernous holes in the wall, much of them very small. Every now and then you think you can hear something squeak or scurry by up or down the walls.
We need to move quickly.
Aye. But cautious. Argyle is going to take a moment and see what he hears up ahead. Their eyes have been playing tricks on them of late, so he's going to try other senses.
Alright, you pause to listen. What's everyone else doing?
Spending a blood point to heal myself to reduce the penalty I have.
Okay.
Nicholas will also listen.
And Katya?
She'll step out in the main hallway and take a look. We know there's rows of doors. Is there like a door at the end of this hallway?
Like the hallway above you, it curves, you assume, in a circle like the one above, as it went an almost complete circle before it's descended down. So you can only see a certain section of the hallway before it curves out of sight. You can see where light is emanating from a distant candle. There must be another one up ahead. Within sight, there's a couple more doors and a dozen cavernous holes of various sizes in the walls.
Would there be doors on the wall that would perhaps lead deeper into the structure itself? Perhaps that would lead to a staircase?
It's hard to say. The holes do not have the lighting of the candles, although peering into one or the other, as they are on both sides, it does seem like they both ascend and descend. They must go all over.
While they're listening, Katya will head down the hallway a little bit.
Is Katya
Quietly.
obfuscated?
Yeah, she'll obfuscate for this.
Alright, so no one really knows where Katya has gone to. Meanwhile, Argyle and Nicholas, you are listening. I will take perception, alertness, standard difficulty. Before aspects, if you have it.
What's aspect? Minimum difficulty?
3. Alright, 4 successes from both. Both of you take a pause in your steps and listen carefully up ahead. You have very acute senses in the intermittent silence in between the scurrying, the occasional distant echo of a bird cawing or perhaps a rat squeaking. There is something, a stirring of something up ahead. You suspect behind one of the doors. There's definitely activity. You hear the dry drag of feet, perhaps sandals on dry stone, and maybe something being manipulated inside, something being pulled.
Argyle will point at the door in question. It sounds like something is happening in behind. There. No. And he'll gesture for the Anarchs to follow.
And they will.
He's not rushing the door, like he's not getting ready to burst through, but he wants to get close enough so that they can take action in a moment.
They seem to follow your lead. There's no change otherwise. You think you can... Well, actually, I'll take a dexterity stealth since you're approaching. You're trying to get up there quietly. I will make a roll for the Anarchs as well. Alright, you do a pretty good job of not stepping on your own toes or tripping or anything. And you're outside the closed wooden door. It's very simple. There's really nothing remarkable about it.
He's gonna wait and see if anyone else is coming to join this.
Nicholas is moving forward, but staying back because he cannot fight.
Helena is moving forward as well, but she is not staying near the front line. She got pretty roughed up already.
Well, that's what Gangrel do best, is man the front line. He's going to count down with his fingers, 3, 2, 1, and then burst through. That way the Anarchs know what he's about to do.
Alright, let me make some rolls here. Okay. You burst through the door, which turns out to be not locked or anything, and it kind of weakly flies open. It is a decently sized chamber. Let me see here. The chamber seems to follow the circular wall. It's kind of like a wedge-shaped room. So the longest wall on the far end is about 50 feet long. The shortest wall you came through is closer to 20. And these walls are lined ceiling to floor with wooden shelves holding scrolls, hundreds of scrolls. Although there are many places where there are gaps, entire sections missing. Many letters and numbers along the shelves, regular intervals, some kind of elaborate system of organization. No one apparently is inside.
I know I heard him. Nicholas, see what you see over our shoulders, but stay back.
Nicholas will look around, focusing, attempting to pierce any attempts at auspex. Or, obfuscation.
I will take a perception alertness from you, standard difficulty. Specialties here?
Intuitive.
I'm going to give that to you because there are only a few places that you think would make sense to hide in, as the shelves almost perfectly line the walls. There's only a few places to stand. And so you look carefully inside the room using the very dim light reflecting off the door from the outside. You almost miss someone, but looking in between a gap in the shelf, which is very narrow, there is a figure hooded, apparently with something slung over his shoulder, some kind of satchel. He's standing very still.
Nicholas will lean close to Argyle. Close enough that hopefully Auspex won't avail whoever this is. There, in that gap, someone stands obfuscated.
How far away would that put it?
Not very far, maybe 20 feet.
Okay, so a gap I can pretty easily close
Yes.
and make it basically impossible for him to get out any other way but through me.
Yes.
He's going to walk towards that gap with a purpose, doing his best to feign making eye contact with a person he can't see, but a piercing stare at about head height. Kind of trying to stare down a person he imagines is there.
You find yourself staring at the kind of side end of a shelf. It's very strange. It's almost like your eyes have trouble adjusting to what you're looking at.
He doesn't know I can't see him.
Alright, you've made it to this kind of empty 3-foot gap between shelves.
Oh no, he's striding towards the end. Like, he's walking with a purpose as if he's about to go maim this person.
Yeah, you've made it to where Nicholas told you. It's kind of in this gap, this 3-foot gap between shelves.
So he's at the opening to the gap, or he's passed into the gap?
So there's a book, there's kind of like this shelf of scrolls to his left, a shelf of scrolls to his right, and there's a few feet of space he's kind of been standing in, and you make it to that.
Well, he's going to put his faith in Nicholas and punch what he has been told is there.
Alright, you punch and suddenly your hand feels cloth and perhaps tissue, person. You've grasped someone and suddenly you realize looking down there is, in fact, a person, hooded. No! Let me go, You see a horrifically disfigured young man with what you can tell is some kind of terrible wound across his scalp and going down his face. His mouth is... It's hard to tell what is his mouth. It's jagged and scarred. There's many lines. There's only one good eye you can really look at. And you've basically got a grapple on him for all intents and purposes. Please, please. Let me go. I did nothing wrong.
Hey, the last prior we trusted nearly got one of us killed.
I'm not like other priors. Ask me what I can do to get out of this. I do not wish to die here.
Aye, nor do we. But your leadership is sorely lacking.
He kind of looks past you with his one good eye, and you're a good couple feet taller than him, so he's got, a couple hands up where you're grasping him, but it's a pretty weak grip. I can't quite say I know much about the leadership. I got recruited in London, and well, I've been doing what I can, but I don't know much about them.
You've heard the name Basileus?
Well, of course. Everyone's heard that name. Down here we call him Godric.
Wasn't very long ago, I don't think. He went by a different name, but you'd have to ask Barbaros about that.
Don't know what you mean about that. I'm low on the ladder, you see.
If I was this Godric, where might I go if I was looking to make an escape from the city?
As you're talking, I need a couple rolls from Katya and Nicholas. You both feel a compulsion as this door is open, the room is exposed, and something overcomes you. There is a pull inside the room. A pull to both of you. Something in here must be destroyed. If you wish to go along with it, no roll is required. Otherwise, I'll need a willpower roll.
Can we figure out what object we're being directed to?
A scroll. There is a scroll in this room, and somehow you know that it must be destroyed.
What difficulty was it again?
The difficulty is going to be 8.
1 success.
Alright. How does Nicholas react to this compulsion? Do we still have Nicholas?
Oh, yes. Sorry, what were you saying to me?
You and Katya both felt a compulsion to go into the room. It's a strange sensation, but there is a scroll inside there which you feel should be destroyed. It's kind of an alien sense. You're not sure where this thought came from. It feels like your own. You don't really know where it came from otherwise. But there's a scroll in there. It needs to be destroyed. It sounds like Nicholas is having some connection issues.
Okay. What's my ping? 255 still, but... So we see a scroll in there that we feel compelled to go in there and do what to?
To destroy
burn.
it.
Okay. Nicholas does not like being compelled. Can he resist?
Yes, willpower roll difficulty 8 if you do not want to go along with it.
Oh, Jesus. I'll just do it. His willpower. There's no way.
Okay.
Katya, sensing that something great must be within the scroll for it to have such a defense mechanism, is going to rush to it and try to grab it.
Alright. So Argyle, you kind of notice behind you a couple people are coming into the room and looking at some of the scrolls. Katya grabs one off the wall as Nicholas seems to be walking with intent towards the same scroll. And what is Elena doing during all this?
She would have gone into the room once it was deemed safe.
Alright. And Argyle, your question was, what about Basileus?
Where might he go if he wished to flee the city?
We have tunnels everywhere, you see. This tower, it descends a few more levels and then it connects to the cisterns and the sewers. Certainly he's trying to get out that way. The sewers go all over.
Hey. But if he expected a confrontation, where might he lay a trap?
Honestly, I'm not much of a tactician. The whole tower could be a trap. I know that there's things in these tunnels that I'm not supposed to be messing with, you see. There are things in here. But I was told to stick to a certain path and never deviate. And, well, I never deviated. Alright, meanwhile, Katya, you grab the scroll. Doesn't make any sense to you. The characters don't appear to be any language that you recognize. And Nicholas, you find yourself reaching out towards the scroll that Katya is apparently hoarding for herself, and you feel pretty confident this should be destroyed.
We have to destroy that.
What are you talking about? This scroll cannot be destroyed.
It must be.
Something plays with your mind. Fight it.
Give me the scroll, Katya. It is the scroll that poisons you.
What are you two bickering about?
She has a dangerous weapon in her hand.
It looks like a scroll, hardly something that you can harm someone with.
I don't know that that's true, but something's not right.
Give it to me or I'll take it from you by force.
What madness has overcome you?
Argyle is going to bodily drag the prior out and go to lend his voice. He'll open his hand towards Katya. I think I'll be keeping that.
No, you won't. And Nicholas is going to lunge for it.
Katya will try her best to deliver it to Argyle's hands.
Argyle is going to have to let go of apples, unfortunately, in order to both take the scroll and block whatever Nicholas is about to attempt.
Alright. Fortunately, it seems like there's several other Gango keeping an eye on this prior, so he doesn't seem to be trying to make a run for it, at least just yet. And Nicholas, I will say that you've gotten close enough now. You can at least see some of the letters on it. It looks identical to the kind of characters you decoded once before when you decrypted messages from Basileus going out. It's the same code.
What would normally interest him if he wasn't being compelled to destroy. Because he's quite certain that whatever's on there is important. Important enough to get rid of.
Alright, I'll take contested strength brawls here to see who can grab it.
That will go well.
Hey, you've seen how I roll.
It's already better than...
Alright.
Specialty doesn't apply.
So, Nicholas, you grab it from Katya, and just a moment later, Argyle grabs it from you.
Release it, Gangrel.
You're not thinking clear. Reason it out.
Nicholas. I felt its influence over my mind. You must fight it.
Alright, well, I'm going to try to... He's going to try to fight it now that they're trying to reason with him. Since reason is his modus operandi.
Yes, I will let you roll another, or try for willpower. With the time delayed and people trying to reason with you, I will lower it to 6. Managed to regain some sense of wherewithal. Almost like you're waking up from a dream and realizing it doesn't make any sense. It's just a scroll. You don't have to destroy it.
A look of confusion crosses his face for just a moment. What sorcery is this?
The type I do not know not. But knowing that it exists is intriguing.
There must be something important on it to warrant laying down such a compulsion. Even now, looking at it, I can still feel it pulling at me. I should hide that.
Argyle will tuck it behind the breastplate he's wearing.
Alright. The prior is kind of holding up at his hands, looking concerned.
Were you ever told why you weren't meant to go certain places?
For my safety.
Likely because they'd have your tongue torn out if you didn't.
He kind of stops himself as he starts to look up and speak up, and then looks down. I'm not a zealot. There are those among us that would do it themselves. But I'm not like them.
No, I expect you might be more like a Rothschild.
What are you doing in here? Prior.
I was trying to make off with what texts I could.
The satchel, yes. Let me have a look.
And were you ordered to take those texts?
I was.
Which ones specifically?
Well, I'd just about gotten the haul I was going to get. I was about well on my way out when I heard something outside. I thought I'd hide. I thought that no one would ever get this far down. Impossible, they said it was.
We're wasting time. He's getting away.
Give me the satchel.
Tell you what, lad. You show the nice lady everything you were meant to take that's not already in a satchel. Hand over the bag, and we'll consider you a loose end.
He nods, and after a pause, he pulls off the satchel of scrolls, which are almost pouring out, and hands it to you, Katya. He pulls off 2 more scrolls from the shelves and places it in.
What about the rest of them? What's in them?
Everything.
Care to elaborate?
Hey, you're gonna need to be a little more specific. Everything is kind of a broad subject.
It's the most valuable thing that we have. The secrets, bones owed, lineages, everything that everyone above wanted hidden, everything we knew.
Right. How are they ordered?
It would take a long time to explain.
By date? By name?
His face screws up even more than it already was. It's not a system you'd be familiar with. It's one of our own invention. It's intended specifically to make it difficult for people to pilfer it by any organization.
Did the usurpers help you?
With this? No. No, God, no. Never trust them with this. They don't know it exists.
And it's too much for any one man to memorize. Even one of us.
I am certain we can relinquish this back to your clan, and after the troublesome prince is dealt with.
I don't know. I think each man is his own. What secrets here were yours? And he'll turn and look at the prior.
We don't keep secrets on ourselves.
No. Which ones did you find?
He kind of squints his eyes, looking. This one. These two, I think. It's been years since I put these away.
Grab what's yours. We'll burn the rest.
Oh. Do you know what you're burning here? It's worth more silver than there is in Britain.
That's a temptation. You work for what you have. You earned it. And, since you're being so helpful, you've right to keep it. The rest is ill-gotten gains.
He looks, still holding the few scrolls he's kind of got piled up in his arms. So much to be lost. A century of gathering this.
Hey,
Because your leader decided to be, an enemy to the country.
pride goeth before a fall, they say. Thus is the cost of hubris.
Well, I'm not about to argue with you. If you let me go, and even more with this, you do what you want. It's more than I bargained for, all this.
Can I roll an empathy check to see if the ones he picked are actually his, and he's not trying to sneak off with anything?
Sure. Perception, empathy. Standard.
I want to get on that also.
You guys and your insight checks. Alright, 3 successes from Elenid. And at least 4 from Argyle.
Empathy specialties gaining trust. I don't think it applies.
Not here, but 4 is still pretty good. Yeah, you watch him closely as he's kind of screwing up his face and trying to pick out scrolls, and you think he's genuinely trying to remember which ones are his and taking the time. You don't detect any subterfuge when he's trying to pick out the scrolls. Well, if it's all the same to you, I'll leave you to burning and whatnot, and be on my merry way, pretending I was never here.
I don't know what you're talking about. Never seen you before in my own life.
Quite right.
And if I do see you again, it better be with a tankard of ale in your hand. Figuratively speaking, at least.
Maybe someone up there's looking out for me. I'll take it. He nods to the group of you and starts to
Before he
make his way out.
leaves, Katya will approach him, though.
Yeah, give me a dexterity legerdemain.
Damn. No legerdemain. What difficulty?
We'll go with 7.
Okay.
That's at least 3 successes. You go and pat him kind of lightly, a friendly way as you let him kind of go by. And there are a couple loose threads of very thin black hair kind of falling off, rolling off the sides of his head, and you manage to get a couple of the balled up pieces that are already basically off him. And I need to make some rolls here.
Do be safe on your travel. She'll surreptitiously put it in her satchel that she just got.
Give me one moment. All right. So you're kind of waving goodbye, and he's smiling, and as much as a smile as you can, waving to you as he actually is going back the way you came, perhaps towards one of the tunnels you passed by. And the gangrel, the anarchs that have accompanied you, kind of step out of the way, letting him pass, although there's confusion on their face. And there is an eruption of the sound of glass and a sizzling sound as all 5 apples, the prior, you didn't get the name of, as well as the 4 anarchs are assaulted by a barrage of something. There is something caustic, corrosive, that hits all of them. One of the anarchs is hit in the face with something. It's hard to see what it is, but it burns away at his face, and his skull almost melts away. He falls to ashes. The other 3 are horrifically burned as well. 2 of them so badly they fall to the ground. The last one is hit in the shoulder, less wounded, but still, the sizzling from all of them is loud. It is something acidic that is burning away much of their flesh. The prior has even been hit, and he's also fallen to the ground. There are shouts from outside. Surround them! Do not let them escape! Roll initiative. Alright, I'm going to put the anarchs that survive above these guards. We have Argyle at 15. Katya at 13. Nicholas Katya, who has the higher wits.
Nicholas does.
This goes first. 17. Alright, Elenid, you are first to react to all of this going on.
She'll look around. Is there an exit we could use as choke point?
You have the exit as a choke point. You're all in this chamber of shelves and these scrolls inside. So the doorway, which is only a few feet wide, is kind of your choke point. There are no other ways in or out.
I thought the Anarchs had followed us inside.
No, the Anarchs were waiting outside. They were waiting with you when you kind of bust in, and they were making sure no one else got out.
Got it. Okay.
Now several of them are on the ground writhing in pain. One of them you saw is basically ash. So Helen, you see you have only one choke point. What would you like to do?
One moment, I'm looking up my disciplines in the PDF. She intends to create an illusion on the inside of the room, make there seem like there's more targets than there actually are for the incoming force. Hopefully distract them to try to get those instead.
Alright, gonna make some extra targets. Let's see. So you are using...
Nightshades.
Alright, I'll take a Wits Occult difficulty 7. Each success will create an image of a human size target, roughly. This will require active concentration. So you'll create 3 extra illusions. So out of the darkness, 3 seemingly humanoid people appear, kind of filling the space of this room. Is there anything else you're doing right now?
Moving towards the other end of the room. Away from the danger.
Okay. Argyle, you're up.
Argyle's going to put his back against the stonework on the back side of the door. Did it swing in or swing out?
Swung in.
Okay. So on the back side of the door, he's going to try and see if he can peer around the crack to see how many are out there. And he's going to pop claws.
Alright. Peering around, I will say that you think you see 3 down the hallway further, as if you had continued on and never stopped here. And with some careful looking, you think 2 more back the way you came from.
Right, lads. What have you got today? Choose amongst yourselves which one wants to lead us down to catch up with Godric. I'll wait.
Do not get a response right now. Is there anything else you want to do besides ready your claws?
Can I call that charisma intimidation? See if I can't get them to either start fighting amongst each other or fleeing.
You can try to intimidate them. It's going to be an uphill battle, as they believe they have the upper hand right now. So I'll take a charisma intimidation roll. Difficulty is going to be 9. Convincing them that they should be afraid is unlikely. Wow. One success. Alright. But you're not poking your head out to see what they're going to do next, I imagine.
Nope.
Alright. So, you give a good shout, some intimidating words. You don't know what happens. You don't see what happens. And Nicholas, you are up next.
There isn't really... I mean, there's no one within sight, right?
Inside the chamber, no.
He is going to try to step into a shadow and obfuscate himself.
Alright, easy enough to do. Everyone's looking out, no one's here to look in. You obfuscate.
Alright. And that's it for now, until they get it.
Okay. Katya, you're next.
Katya will enter obfuscate and wait for targets to get closer, I guess.
Okay, you also enter obfuscate. The Anarchs, the 3 that remain, are pretty badly wounded. Let's see here. Two of them are at crippled. One of them is mauled, and even a cursory glance sees that whatever hit them is still burning through them. These Anarchs are still pissed, though. So they're going to fight through their wounds to make an attack. They can ignore their wounds for 1 round. Should have done damage, I'll do that now. Alright, for those inside, you can't really see what's happening, but you see that despite the horrible burns, wounds that your Anarch comrades have suffered, they push themselves up, their fangs extended, looking feral. They leap out, 2 in one direction, 1 in the opposite. You hear the sounds of of screams and claws. There's violence out there. You can't tell how it's going, but it sounds bad. Maybe for both. The guards will get an action. There are 4 in total now. All right. The guards are going to take an action that isn't going to have any dice, and you're not going to see what exactly is happening until you go out there. So it is a new round. Elenid, Katya, and Nicholas seem to have disappeared. Your anarchs have gone off into the battle. You hear the sounds of violence out there. You have 3 extra illusions that appear like people inside this chamber. Argyle's behind the door, intimidating them, or was a moment ago. What do you do? We still have London?
Yes, you do.
Okay.
We cannot see out there, correct?
Well, unless you poke your head out.
That seems dangerous. Actually, can I poke my head out long enough to cast Arms of Aramain near where they are and then immediately retreat back into the...
You can. You will lose concentration on your Nocturne illusions.
Never mind that.
Alright, are you holding action for now then?
Holding action, yes.
Okay. Argyle, you're up.
Not one to miss a party. At the sound of battle being joined, he's going to step outside. It's not what he wants to do, but he promised Ellen Ellis he'd do what he can to get these boys back alive. So he's going to go out, take stock. It sounds like there's 2 on one side and 1 on the other.
Of the Anarchs, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, to give you...
Go ahead.
I was going to give you a clearer picture as you step outside. So looking left the way you came, you can see what looks like 2 of your Anarchs are engaged with 2 of these guards, which appear to be almost mercenary-looking men clad in dark leather. And you can see that they had crossbows, but they've kind of been forced to use them as almost like clubs to push back and defend themselves from these anarchs that are clawing into them. And to the right, you see another 2 of these black-clad guards fighting off one of the anarchs. At your feet is the ashes of one of the anarchs that immediately fell to whatever this caustic thing is. It's burning through the floor, whatever this is, and you can tell by the sizzling the anarchs are still suffering from these wounds.
So the guy who's engaged by himself is going to go and assist. Because fair's fair, after all.
Actually, you know what I didn't do was give them rolls for their fortitude, because that absolutely applies here. And that is also fair.
Talking about the Anarchs?
Yes.
Yeah, I thought that was odd.
So thank you for reminding me. Let me roll that for them. Alright. Let's see if the ashed... Alright, one of the Anarchs that was ashed is going to get a turn. He's almost dead, but he's not quite dead. Unfortunately, he rolled very poorly. But he's up. So it's an equal fight on both sides, 2 against 2 and 2 against 2. Although, as I said before, the substance, this acid or whatever, is still burning through them. So you can go left or right. Both sides seem equal.
Well, if it's still burning on them, he's going to call behind him, bring water. See if we can't get this shite off these boys. And then he's going to wade in. How far apart are the two groups, out of curiosity?
Both seem to be about 15 feet from the door, down the hallway, left or right.
Okay. Just point of clarification. I cannot split celerity actions. That's correct?
As in, you want to take an additional action and then make that additional action more actions?
Right. I'm pretty sure that's not a thing I can do, but on the off chance that I'm wrong.
Yeah, I'm going to say no. You can obviously use celerity for regular additional actions, but you can't further divide those.
Right, so I can split my base action, and then I can take a celerity action that cannot be split. So effectively I could take 3 attacks, theoretically.
Let's see what your celerity is. Okay. So 2 points in celerity. And you want to take 3 actions in total?
Effectively. So it'd be claw, claw, run across the other side to the other guy, and claw, or to the other pair, and claw one of them.
Let me look at something really quick.
Yeah. Just making sure I'm not shortchanging myself on options.
So your celerity half rounded up can be extra combat actions, so you could take 3 actions as is with your celerity.
Right, but 3 attacks is specifically what I'm talking about.
Yeah, that's what I mean is half
Okay,
of your
so
half your celerity, which would be 1.5, but you can round up to 2, can be attacks.
Got it. Okay. So he's going to charge over to the left side. And from behind the 2 guards, he's going to claw at them. I believe attacking from the rear provides a benefit.
You're not going to easily get past them. The hallway is not large enough that you would not have to barrel through them, so you can't really flank them. You can get up to them in that speed.
Okay. We'll do that. Let's try and attack in and around the Anarchs who are engaged already then.
Alright. So you're not going to have any difficulty penalties, but you will still have the dice penalties. So your first attack will be at -1, your second will be at -2, and so on.
So difficulty is the same. Dice reduces.
Yep. Even for the first attack.
Okay. So that's on 1 guard. It's on the 2nd guard. Oh, I messed up. That first claw should have had an additional damage die on it, because I rolled a success, or a 10, rather. Well, let me do just 2 more die and see where they land, because I did the same with claw 2. We'll call the second one, the 10 can go on the claw 2 attack. And then he's going to rush across to the other side and strike at one of those guys as well. Staggering number of ones. So Argyle comes flying out, and like a scene out of a Tasmanian devil cartoon, rips into the two guards on the left, and then crosses over and tears through another one.
Alright, so you made 2 attacks on the left and then 1 on the right.
Right. Each one on a separate guard.
I made a little drawing below, top for clarity, because there is a lot of actors here.
Okay, fair enough.
I'm going to make you pink. So you're going to end up on the right side at the end of your 3rd attack.
Yep.
The yellow is the prior who just is on the floor. Alright, so let's see here. So your damage on the first one.
It's 4 ag, and the second one was 6 ag, and the last one was 3.
Alright, that's going to kill 2 of them outright. 1 on the left and 1 on the right. Between your attacks and the Anarchs. So between your attacks, you managed to cut down 2 of these guards with a flurry of slashes. And these men bleed hot blood. These are either ghouls or regular men. These do not seem to die like Canaanites die. The warm blood spills out onto the floor as the sizzling from this acid burns away. You can tell the Anarchs are falling down, one falling to his knees and trying to hold himself up, yelling in pain. Nicholas, you are up. You know there's a lot of violence going on outside. You don't know what.
He's going to go out there and have a look.
Alright. So looking up and down the hall, just outside the door, you see this Nosferatu with, he's kind of dropped his scrolls and they've rolled across the floor. He's burning away at something. There's a lot of broken glass all over the floor around this area. And a lot of these drips of something that is sizzling on the floor and burning well away into everyone that got hit. Down the hall to the left, you see 2 of the Anarchs that seem to still be burning away. One of the guards, these black leather-clad men, is on the ground, eviscerated. And similarly on the right, another man, his throat ripped open and the vest he was wearing cut, exposing much of his ribs and his cartilage.
Alright. Although it's not altruism that guides his hand, because he doesn't have any of that within him. He's going to help Apples by removing his clothing, first of all, and dragging him away from the pools of acid.
Alright, you tear off the cloak he had about him and see that this substance is of a curiosity to you. You might know what it is, but it's burning through, it's already burned through the clothing he was wearing, and it's going right down his shoulder blade into his torso.
Nicholas would really have no idea how to stop that, I'd imagine.
You could give me an intelligence and medicine roll. And I did forget soak rolls for these guys. They do have some armor on, obviously, as I'm describing, which I neglected on their soak. So they're going to be doing poorly, but they might still survive. So let me roll for them. You got 5 successes. You think you know exactly what this is. There is a substance known to alchemists known as aqua fortis. It's a mixture of saltpeter and sand distilled by fire. It's horrifically acidic. You think that a good amount of water probably could help at least slow the burning, maybe dilute it enough to stop it. While you think about what to do with that, I'll roll some soaks for these poor guards.
I'd imagine there's plenty of water down here.
The chamber you're in does not have the cavernous holes that the rest of the hallway does, although you do think that there were maybe a couple puddles in some of those tunnelings where the earth is wet.
All right. He's gonna pick up apples then and begin taking them towards one of those. Well, actually, I probably used my action for this turn, but next turn he will do that.
Alright, let me roll some soaks before I forget again.
And of course, he's no longer obfuscated because he was messing up.
Alright, so they're still in pretty bad shape. They are not quite dead. Two of them, one of them is all but dead. But they haven't quite been finished off yet. And yes, I'll count that as your turn. That's to remind myself. Katya, you've entered obfuscate. There's violence outside.
She'll head to the doorway and peer around. And she is hurt pretty bad, so she can't make it anywhere really far very quickly. So, I guess she'll just quietly sneak to the left as far as she can get. I'm not sure how far they are, but she's going to try and get in a flanking position from the rear possible of these guards that are engaged.
Alright, you're going to face a similar issue as Argyle did. They occupy enough of the hallway that you can try to maybe do a duck and roll or something, but bodily they take up enough space, it'll be difficult. You still want to try?
So they're close enough that I can actually do an action. Like attack.
Let's see, how badly wounded are you?
Yeah, wounded level. That means I can't run.
Since they're only about 15 feet away, I will say that you can just about make it. Normally you get about 30 feet, as I recall.
Yeah, about that. Okay.
So yeah, 15 feet, I'll say you can make that even in wounded state.
Then yeah, she'll attempt to roll while in obfuscate to get behind them. And she'll pump a little blood to her strength.
Alright. Give me a dexterity athletics, difficulty 7, to kind of time a roll in between them as they're engaged with these anarchs. Wait for an opening, as small as it is. You do that and you'll get flanking position. You want to maintain obfuscate while you're doing this?
That would be preferable.
Alright. Also difficult, but not impossible. With stealth, difficulty 8. Physically, you'll make it. Whether or not you're hidden is the only question remaining. Alright, you roll pretty well. You will remain obfuscated. In between slashes, one of these men kind of falls to the side and leans up against the wall, and you take that opening to kind of roll through the space, and you're behind these guards now. They don't even see you.
Well, she has, pulls her short sword out, and wearing this guard looks like they're not armored.
These guards definitely look armored. It's a unique kind of armor. You haven't really seen anything quite like it. It's a very heavy kind of black leather. Upon closer inspection, there might even be maybe some bands within, like plate-like bands.
How about the head fully armored?
No, the head is not armored.
She'll take a sword swing to the head.
Okay. Called shot to the head's going to be quite a bit tougher. That'll be a difficulty 8 swing. But you will gain 2 dice from attacking from behind. And obviously their armor will count for nothing. Okay. You are gonna connect. That's a lot of 10s. Roll damage.
Right.
You will get 2 bonus dice for striking the head.
Okay.
They are ghouls, so they will be able to soak lethal.
Wound penalties.
What?
Is that all your dice, even with 3 extra successes?
Let's see. Yeah, she doesn't have much. So it's only strength +1, right?
On your
Just
sword?
with the weapon. Yeah, the short sword.
I think a dagger's +1. I'd give you +2.
Okay.
I may have
Then
said
that roll then.
+1 to begin with, but it seems low for a sword.
And then another one.
rolling pretty tragically. Alright, he's got 2 stamina. He will soak 1 of those, so you'll get a point of lethal, and this gentleman will be at 4 ag and 1 lethal, effectively 5 since they don't take ag, but you get a good cut on him. He's definitely surprised on the attack. He is not felled, but looking very bad. The Anarchs will get a chance to soak against the caustic burning away at them. They are not doing very well. Too many dice?
Yeah, I thought it was 4 Anarchs.
Oh, I did that right. Yeah, it's 4 Anarchs. So the first
You
one...
rolled 5 soaks.
Did I roll 5 soaks?
Nope, never mind. As I was.
Alright, the first one will not take any damage from the burns. The second one will become ash. Third will survive, and as will the 4. No, I was looking at the wrong stats. Those are the guards. First one's okay. Second one's ash. Third one... Yeah, okay. So only one of them will die from the acid burns. So Katya, it's on your side that you see one of these Anarchs is falling, getting weaker. He falls down to a knee, and then you see the ash form from his body as whatever this acid just eats away, actually going through him and coming out the other side. And he falls into pieces. Now the guards will get another action. Of course, they're quite wounded now too.
So the Anarchs only get to soak this round?
Did I skip their turn?
A little bit.
Thank you for catching that. Yes, they do get a turn. So they'll be striking at their respective guards, trying to make further progress. They are not going to be able to keep up, ignoring their wounds. First one's going to try and strike at this guard, claw at him, although it's obviously a weaker attack. And it will miss. He's clearly struggling against this. On the right side, by you, Argyle, the Anarchs aren't doing quite as bad, although certainly injured. taking -2 to their dice. Yes. Yep, even with soaking all of his armor, he would not survive. So that guard is definitely going to die. The last Anarch as well get a chance to attack. Alright, the last guard's also going to be pretty badly mauled by this. So one of the guards dies, another one is pretty badly hit. The guards will get a chance to strike back. Dropping their crossbows and going for slashes with wicked daggers. I'm going to make a little note here that Katya is also present. Katya, you're green.
Did she maintain obfuscate after the strike back there?
I'm going to say that's impossible to maintain obfuscate. Once you've hurt someone that obviously, you cannot maintain obfuscate.
Boo.
That'd be a little bit too powerful. Also, you'd thank me for making that ruling later.
Fair enough.
So these first two guards are wounded, but going to be focusing on the last of the Anarchs on the left side. First guard's not going to do any damage. Xanar's going to soak it up. Second one's going to take another shot. But he is pretty badly hurt. He's at 6 lethal, so he has a pretty bad wound penalty. Alright, the guards on the left side, despite their multiple stabs at this Anarch, are not going to make any progress. There's only one guard on the right side.
Is that poor sod attacking me? Please let it be attacking me.
No, he's attacking one of the Anarchs already wounded. Easier targets. Alright, that is going to be 4 lethal for this guy to soak. Soak one of it. 3 more lethal. He is going to be torpid. That is the one right beside you, Argyle. Alright, so by the end of this round, on the right side, one of the Anarchs and one of the guards have died. On the left side, one of the Anarchs has fallen as well. Everyone all around is pretty badly mauled, either stabbed, burned horribly, or cut open by terrible claws. Elenid, you are safe and sound.
Held action?
Yeah, you still have a held action, that's right. What do you want to do?
Can I move my illusions at all?
Can you move your illusions? Does it say anything about moving illusions?
Don't believe so, that is why I'm asking.
I will say yes. If you maintain concentration, you decide where they are, I'll say that you can.
She'll have her fake little soldiers exit the room and head off to support the lone Anarch.
Alright, head on off to the left. You send 3 of these illusions.
Yes.
Okay. Make a note for myself. There are 3 little illusions heading this way. Courtesy of Elenid.
Yes.
That is the end of your held action. Now there's a new round. And you're up. What do you do in the new round?
can't go out and attack them. That would break my concentration.
Want to hold your action again?
No. Using my military knowledge, could I come up with any weak spots for them to target in the armor, potentially give my allies a bonus?
I don't see why you can't try, if you poke your head out at least. Give me a perception investigation. Now, looking at this distance, with several people in the way, Anarchs, Argyle, Illusions, either way you look at it, it's gonna be pretty tough, difficulty 8.
I do have my detail-oriented specialty.
Okay. Wow. 4 successes. Alright. You think at the joints of the armor, this leather, or whatever it is, this composite armor, is very well encasing, but at the joints, like at the armpit and the elbow, there are openings, even at the neck. Those would be a lot more vulnerable.
Aim for the joint. You'll take them down a lot quicker.
Alright, you call that out down the hall. Anything else from you?
Retreat back into the room for the time being.
Okay. Argyle, you're up. One of the Anarchs beside you is fallen torpor, not ash like the other one you saw, and one of the guards that you hear has been cut down.
I don't want to spend another blood on celerity. So instead, can I split action and attack this guy, move over and attack the other guy?
Yes, I will allow that, but it'll have normal difficulty modifiers as usual.
Totally okay with that. I'd rather conserve the blood.
Alright, so your first roll will be -1 die and additional difficulty, and then the second will be -2 die and +2 difficulty.
Does the bonus that I gave him help at all?
Where are you aiming, Argyle?
For the joints.
Alright.
Because that's what she said, because those are vulnerable.
Yes, I will give you an additional 2 dice to your attack. Technically it's a called shot, so it's harder, but I think Elenid kind of pointing this out helps offset that.
So it's +1 difficulty to the first attack.
Yes. Alright, we'll connect. Alright, you are gonna cut him through.
He's gonna charge over and try and fell the one of the other guards, the one that's not pincered between Katya and the Anarch.
Alright, you see now there's, well, look like 3 kind of darkly veiled individuals approaching the man as well. Look like people, actually.
Does that give me a surprise attack on him? I don't know what that would benefit me at all, but...
Yes, I will give you the benefit of them distracting him, so I'll give you an extra die while you attack him. It's not like a flanking bonus, but he's going to be overwhelmed by what seems like a sudden surge of people. So he won't know who to attack either. Okay, you're going to connect.
Yeah, you gotta love the claw and fang specialty.
And that is going to kill him as well. So in one turn, moving very quickly. It's a bit sloppy, but you connect very well in those joints that Ellen had pointed out. Sever some limbs and open up a throat. Now there is only 1 guard left. Nicholas, you now have a chance to attend to Apple's wounds.
Out of curiosity, did the guards have water skins on them at all?
Have you checked?
No, I was just asking if I saw them.
I'll say as you strike and fell down the guard on this side, it does look like there's something on the back of his belt strapped to him. Maybe a water skin of some kind.
Alright, he's gonna try to pick apples up.
It's tough. He is not a very big person, but he is still a full person. What do you want to do with them?
Take him to where I last saw water.
Alright. Back the way you came, not very far, there was one of these larger cavernous holes poking through, and you think you saw an area where some of the ground collected some dew or some water, must have accumulated over time. It's not much, maybe buckets full.
I'll try to get some of that on the wound.
I'll take an intelligence and survival roll. Standard. Alright. Moving quickly, you will succeed in getting a good amount of this water onto the wound. It's quick and it's sloppy, but you will have doused a lot of the whatever this vapor or caustic substance was burning away. Now there's barely any vapor coming off him at all. He looks pretty bad, but you think he'll live. Anything else from Nicholas during this time?
No, that's good enough for now.
Saving someone's life may go against your path, however.
It's way up there, though.
All right.
Needlessly preventing a death is like 10.
Katya, you are up next. It looks like there's only just this one guard left now.
She'll grab hold of the short sword of two hands. Try to thrust into the guard's armpit. That'd just be a standard attack with extra die.
Yes, you're behind him. You get 2 additional dice for flanking.
Alright. She'll spend 2 more blood on strength.
Alright. Roll it out. Alright, you will connect. Roll your damage. It's a lot of ones. You still got 2 lethal. Were you also aiming for the joints or neck?
Yeah.
Did you add in 2 die?
Yeah, added in the extra die for the
Okay,
roll.
just
Attack
making
roll.
sure.
Did it go to the damage roll?
I just want to make sure you didn't miss out on that.
Okay, yeah.
Alright, being a ghoul, he could still soak lethal. Even his flesh has some defense. He'll soak 1 of it. He's so badly crippled now, though. He's basically 1 health away from his demise. I'm gonna say the Anarch gets 1 last claw into him to finish him off.
I'd figure at this point he'd be feeding on the guy.
Well, he may very well be feeding on him soon. So this last guard is going to fall to the fangs and the claws of the Anarch. Although the burning has not stopped for the Anarchs as it has for this prior.
On that note, Argyle is going to see just what that thing on the back of their belts is.
Katya's gonna feed from guard number 2, and the one that was felled by the shadow illusions.
Alright, I will say that for all the damage he's taken, you can still get 5 blood. A lot of his blood sprayed all over the ground, and it's pooling out quickly, but you can still get 5 points out of him. I need to make a soak roll for these Anarchs for the end of this last round. Alright. One of the Anarchs on the left side is going to fall to ash as the last of the acid burns away. Argyle, you do conclude that, yes, these are water skins. They seem to have brought some.
He's going to take all 4 of the water skins he can get a hold of and use them to clear the remaining acid off the last 2 surviving anarchs.
Okay. I will similarly take intelligence or wit survival, standard difficulty. Are you doing multiple actions to do this quickly? You can see how rapidly this is corroding through their bodies. Seconds, man.
Yeah, he's going to try and get them both. Since there's 4 water skins, he's going to just do 2 in each hand and douse their wounds / where the acid seems to be.
Alright, so you're spending blood for celerity actions?
Sure, because I'm thinking that I can recoup some blood from some of the guards.
Okay. Then yeah, I'll take either intelligence or wits and survival, standard difficulty. Okay. You managed to stop the worst of the burning. You can tell that this last still conscious anarch is leaned up against a wall, gripping at kind of his neck and shoulder, where you can see it's eaten a lot through him. He could probably stand, but he'd probably be limping. Likewise, the torpor anarch across the way, on the same side of this hall, is limp, but he doesn't seem to have fallen to ash like the other 2. And it seems like you managed to stop this acid from continuing its work. There are still small streams or bits of vapor, some kind of gas coming off, but doesn't seem to be destroying them anymore. And at that, we will end the scene and take our break. Okay. So Argyle, you fed off of one of the dead and treated the wounds with water, so looks like the 2 surviving anarchs are going to live, although one of them is torpored.
He's going to try that trick again, where he feeds the guy.
Alright, you sacrifice a blood point, and it does seem to awaken the second of the anarchs. Oh, this burns. I can barely move.
You'll live. Both you get the fuck out of here.
Oh. You don't have to tell me twice. What the hell was that? It was liquid fire.
Some kind of acid. I don't know. But it's gone from your body now.
Although I could help him up. Get him out of here. He's no good to you anymore.
Nay. I'm sorry for your friends. For whatever it's worth.
They knew what they were coming down for.
Hey. They gave more than I asked.
The Anarch will feed off of one of the guards. You can see him kind of move with determination, lifting up his companion with relative ease and kind of carrying him over his shoulder, making a slow and painful stagger back the way you came. Didn't think they'd throw it at me. Bastards. Apples, by the way.
Argyle's going to be looking for something to make fire with.
There are a couple candles, one ahead of you and one behind you.
That'll do. He's going to take that candle into the room with the scrolls.
All right, Apples was talking to me.
Kind of to the group.
Okay. Can you stand?
Can he stand? Let's see. How much did he take? Barely, I think. With great pain and great effort, he puts a hand against the wall and pushes himself up.
You'll heal in time.
I can't believe they destroy me just as soon as you. I thought they would come here to save me.
Now you see what sort of masters you serve.
Not anymore. I'm for myself from here on out. I'm gonna find one of these caverns to go into and wait the day out.
That is smart. Do keep in touch, though. It is good to have friends.
Begging your pardon, I hope I never run into any of you again.
But you will, Apples, you will. If only because you owe us.
Oh, aye. So, for whatever it's worth, I pretend I never met you.
I suppose I should thank you for getting that aqua fortis off me. If you were wise, he'd turn back. Starts to limp away. It's not the last level.
Gotcha's looking at the equipment of the guards. They have crossbows. Do they still have any more of that aqua fortis?
You look, you don't find any other vials on them.
About their armor, is it too big for her?
The armor on most of them has been pretty thoroughly ripped up. You could probably put it on, although it'd be heavily soiled and stained by blood splatters and Could certainly use a tune-up.
Better than what she has after being torn apart by rats.
True.
Argyle, having a similar thought, is going to see about pulling a surcoat or something off of one of the other guards.
Does Nicholas see him lighting this torch?
Oh, wait, that's right. I was going into the room to do things.
So you're taking one of the candles off the pedestals and going back into the room?
Yep.
All right.
You're not really going to burn those, are you?
Don't say things I don't mean.
That knowledge is irreplaceable.
Hey. And it's ruined lives.
We have no means of securing it, and I think we have the most important documents. Why not? Let it burn.
All knowledge is sacred, Katya. Even if it is knowledge of your enemies.
Well, let's think this through. You send one of your lackeys into a room full of secrets and scrolls gathered over a century. Anything is left behind in here, probably not of value to anyone like us.
All the
All the
same,
information.
I'd like to be the judge of that.
Aye. So would Godric. And he's going to go pick up a scroll.
Argyle, perhaps you don't understand how important this is.
Oh. But I do. So does Gretchen. Or Gertrude, excuse me. I knew it was a G name, forgot.
You must at least concede there is something in these scrolls that might be of use to us.
Hey, the one's in the satchel, I'm sure.
You mean the ones collected by a neonate? No.
Aye, I mean the ones that a neonate was specifically directed to go collect.
It was not my assessment. You told him to take only those that he created.
I told him to take those, and I told him to hand over the sack full of the others to Katya.
Katya will pat the satchel to emphasize it. The only... Yeah. Still, daylight is approaching. We must be quick.
I must satisfy myself that we have all the documents of use. But I will not watch you burn scrolls.
Well, you're welcome to turn around and not watch. And he'll touch one of the scrolls to the flame of the candle and pitch it into a wall, or a shelf full of other scrolls.
Nicholas winces.
Scroll catches, and in a few moments, the other scrolls in that cubby will catch. Certainly, in a few minutes, the shelf will catch. And your beast will compel you to step away.
Well, he was gonna do a superhero exit, toss the scroll, and then leave immediately after.
As they're
Dumb
doing
question.
that, can I take one of their suits of armor for myself?
Sure.
Dumb question in the aftermath of that action. What's the roof of that room look like?
It's all stone. Everything down here seems to be kind of stone brick or carved stone. It looks like a lot of effort was made to kind of dig out these underchambers.
Okay, so it's not like it's going to consume a wood ceiling. That's fine.
No, no.
People are dead because of that information. And how it's been used. Leaving it behind for others doesn't seem right.
I am mainly worried that others could steal more while we are seeking this Godric. Now, if we are done discussing this, we do have a target to find, no?
Aye, you've the right of it. He'll assist with the ladies putting on armor as best he can, so they can make their way. Fancy a new suit, Nicholas?
He looks to Argyle. What do you mean?
Who? Argyle gestures to one of the fallen guards. Well, he's not using it no more.
What are they wearing?
It looks like very expensive, kind of advanced composite, like a polished black leather with bands of metal plates for reinforcement. There's no helmet, but much of the body is well protected in it.
I don't even know how to wear armor.
Well, it's a bit like a coat and pants. Except heavier.
I thank you very much for simplifying it.
And if the armor is made particularly well, its weight does not take away from your movement.
We don't have time for donning armor. Let's be on our way.
Begging your pardon, but they did take the brunt of some fairly serious atrocities before. I'm okay with doing whatever little we can to prevent that happening again.
Elned will look over at the two remaining anarchs. Have both of them fed by now?
Oh, Argyle told them to fuck off.
Oh.
Yeah, the last you
Right.
saw was one of them carrying the other, who was barely conscious, away, back the way you came.
But if you're asking, I think there is one more guard that hasn't been fed on.
Correct. The Anarchs did feed on one of the guards, so did Argyle and Kote.
Is Elned still affected by that not wanting to feel like feeding because of the poisoning thing?
Oh, yeah. You and...
She will pass.
Oh, yeah, to that point, Kote, you will not be able to feed on these without retching it up.
Really?
Yes. Failed your food poisoning. You still have that sensation.
Nicholas does not. He's going to feed.
So I, like, purge the blood that's in her that's causing this?
You don't know. You're not a doctor.
Alright, well, I'm marking away that blood. Okay.
You feel quite ill right now.
So Enough laying around for Nicholas to grab 5 points.
Oh yeah. There's actually a body left over because Katya took one look at it and turned away.
He still thinks he might be infectious from feeding on the sick above, but if this man's going to die anyway, then it doesn't matter.
Argyle is going to just take 3 from the remaining guard.
All right. What little life and warmth is left in his body quickly dissipates.
Nicholas looks flush-ish. For a moment.
As does Argyle. Almost human.
This blood is considerably better than the rat's, Argyle. There's something rich about it. You haven't fed on many ghouls, but you can tell when something has a little bit of a kick to it. Plumes of smoke start to roil up from the bottom of the closed door.
Right, that's going to start drawing attention.
Let's get a move on then.
Aye, I'll take point.
How quiet is this armor while moving, by the way?
Surprisingly quiet. There's no metal rings that clank, and the plates seem to be separated enough that they don't really jar against each other. You could probably move pretty easily in it. Surprisingly easily, in spite of how thick it is. It doesn't seem to weigh you down much at all. And yes, just like them, you gain 3 soak dice for this armor. So you guys continue on. And again, much like before, the path winds around. You find more doors, just like the one you passed. And again, the cavernous holes, many tunnelings. You get further away from the plumes of smoke. Are you checking anything else, or are you just continuing on the path?
Argyle would keep an ear out.
Since it's down to just the 4 of us now, Katya will offer to at least give everyone the cloak of Obfuscate. Less surprises of ambushes that way.
Elenet approves of this idea.
All right.
In that case, she will use Cloak the Gathering.
I don't think you need to spend any blood for that.
Nope.
Okay. So you all move unseen to the casual glance or passerby, but you don't see anyone down here. Listening, you continue to hear the pitter-patter of tiny feet going up and down, countless tunnels, the occasional flap of wings, Must be some birds in here somewhere. There are certainly small creatures not very far away, although always out of sight. You don't hear any more footsteps or people in the rooms. You don't hear anything from these rooms. Eventually, the path winds all the way back again. You find that it is identical to the level above, in that this also leads further down. You just continuing on?
Yep.
Okay. The third level, much like the two above, has a winding path. Occasionally, as you pass by the doors on this level, you will hear the jangle of chains, the occasional slow footstep.
Though we investigate the sounds, we keep...
Argyle doesn't look like he's slowing down. He might have to be convinced.
Up to you, Katya. You're maintaining the obfuscate.
She'll trust the gangrel for senses. She'll just follow along.
Alright. Anyone else?
Elnet is intent on continuing on.
Okay. And Nicholas as well?
Yeah.
Alright. Again, you estimate roughly a quarter mile in length walking this entire hallway roundabout. And as before, there are doors, maybe a dozen or so, and all of them seem to have some amount of activity inside. You can't really tell exactly what. But after the quarter mile, there is another descent. And goes further. You're now 3 levels below that of the rat bowl you landed in.
Assuming we just continue on this level.
Okay. There are fewer doors here, although the tunneling and the holes seem as present as they were above. Again, rats here and there, bats fluttering, or birds I should say. Although perhaps there are bats, you haven't actually seen what's fluttering around. There are a few doors, they're more distant, and these appear to be more reinforced. Look like maybe a wooden frame, but perhaps with metal reinforcements of some kind. Likely has a... You actually do see a keyhole for a lock on these doors. There is no sound from any of the rooms here.
What about that big, heavy door?
Which big heavy door?
You said there was a big, heavy door with a lock and bands.
Yeah, all the rooms down here seem to be like that. They all seem to have these kind of doors.
Got it.
These doors are different than the ones above, but uniformly so.
I think we are getting closer.
Damn well better be.
This hallway does not complete a circle. About halfway, roughly, what you think would be a circle, it cuts sharp to the left, a 90-degree turn. And no longer is it arcing. For the first time since you descended, there's a straight hallway. It ends in what looks like a large open space somewhere down there, which is somewhat illuminated. But you'd have to get closer to see any more than that.
Content to go closer and check it out.
Can I scan the room for traps first?
Yeah, Argyle's also looking for any signs of trouble. Big open space. Perfect place for an ambush.
So you want to walk up to the opening so you can see it before entering?
Something like that.
Yep.
Ideally.
We're all cloaked.
Alright, so cloaked, you make it to the edge of this chamber. It's very wide. It's probably the largest chamber you've seen since you came down here. Even wider than the rat bowl that you landed in. Maybe 100 feet across, circular. It seems to be dirt floor. At the center is a kind of slightly raised platform, almost like a dais. And it reminds you of kind of a platform an orator would use, except that there is a single wooden chair. It is empty. Most notable, the ceiling is extremely high up. It must extend all the way up back to the floor at the base of the blood bowl. Something like 5 stories high. And all around the walls going down, you see the exits of all those countless holes you were seeing before. It's like being on the inside of a beehive or a colony. Some of these holes have small ledges that peer out below. Here and there, some of these smaller tunnels and holes, you see birds flying out of and across the space above. There are rats that scurry into and out of these holes. And back on the ground level, across from you at the opposite end, there is another hallway that enters darkness. There doesn't seem to be anyone here right now.
Argyle will tap Nicholas and gesture towards his eyes and then around the room.
Nicholas will look, but he knows that if Godric is in here, he won't see.
Perception, alertness, standard. Alright, 3 successes. You look around up high towards the ceiling, towards the walls and the ledges. You don't see anyone on the ledges. You don't see anyone at the orator's stand, except for the vermin flying and scurrying above. Doesn't seem to be anyone here.
Nicholas will look at Argyle and shake his head.
Could it be this one's power is beyond your sight?
I could almost guarantee that.
Well, he's not the only one to worry about.
In this case, other than kicking at the chair, we would have to use a bait of some sort.
Argyle pats the pouch, or the satchel that Koch is carrying. Aye, that we have.
She'll take the satchel off and hand it to Argyle.
He'll wave her off. No. That's a card I don't want to play just yet. He'll point towards the far door.
Across from you is actually just an open space. There is a tunnel there, kind of like a hallway, but there's no door, it just goes into darkness.
What exactly are you telling me?
I don't think he's here. I think he's further in.
Was there any more animals in this room?
Many above you.
How many are we talking about?
Dozens. Many dozens.
Does it seem like it's gonna be another swarm event?
Not that many. They also don't seem like they're interested in coming down to bother you. They fly this way and that, but they don't seem to descend towards you.
Concerned if they could see us, but maybe our talking is alerting them.
They either can't see you or they're not bothering to come down.
Then continue we do.
I'd be surprised if there's not another ward.
I sense there is one more here. We have not discovered it yet. It may be worth looking in this room.
Argyle's going to turn on his Eyes of the Beast and have a look around.
I'm just trying to sense via awareness if there's any just anything supernatural in the area.
Alright, so Argyle, you don't detect anything in the darkness beyond the tunnel, or rather the hallway, seems to continue on, and from what you can see at a distance, it looks like it breaks away into another passage that's unlike the ones you've been going. You've been traveling almost exclusively in these kind of solid stone hallways that have been carved, and up ahead it looks more like smaller brick. And Katya, you're trying to detect anything supernatural in the area?
Yes.
Perception, awareness, center difficulty. There is a lot of something around you. There is something strange about this place. You don't really know what. You just know that, yes, definitely there is something supernatural. Perhaps it's just the creatures above you.
Is it something that gets stronger towards any walls, or is it just like a general sensation in this room itself?
It's a general sensation. Awareness is not a very precise tool to use. There are disciplines that are far more telling and accurate.
We can try to use the last orb. Does not seem to be consumed if there is nothing there.
Nicholas will produce it and hand it over.
Katya will take it and speak the words.
You speak the words, but you don't feel any heat or anything come off the stone, or this brass sphere, I should say. Doesn't seem to do anything. You think what you're looking at is what you're looking at.
This is no illusion, at least. Katya will hand it back to Nicholas.
He will stow it away again.
Let us continue on.
As we're going into what I'm going to presume to be the, he used a word and it fell away from my brain. We'll call it sewers. Argyle's going to see if he can't pick out fresh footprints.
Sure. Perception, survival, center difficulty. There are many footprints on the dirt ground at this kind of base level you've landed at. They all seem to come from this hallway you're lurking out of and continue on towards that dark hallway.
Right. He was going to be searching for the freshest footprints down that dark hallway.
I would say you do sense there's actually multiple footprints that seem pretty recent, relatively recent, going in that direction.
he's taken it. I tend you with him. What a few zealots who fled with him.
That's not surprising.
Hey, stand ready.
Katya, give me a wit stealth roll.
Okay.
Difficulty 8. All right. Carry on.
Out of curiosity, with 3 successes, am I able to get a general guesstimate of how many people pass this way just ahead of us?
I will say more than a few, less than 20.
Right, so 19. Got it. Can I tell which path they took?
It's a straight shot.
Okay, I thought you said it split off, but yeah, okay.
I mean, from where you're standing, you can't tell. You haven't even entered the chamber itself, as I understand it.
Right, but the idea is I'm going to be trying to follow these same footprints in that direction. Kind of figure out who's going where.
So you leave Katya to go across and search out this and more investigation?
No, I thought we were heading that way.
I thought you were all kind of lurking at the edge and not going in yet. Sorry.
Yeah, we'll travel together and go through the room.
All right. So you go through the room and straight into the tunnel where Argyle says the architecture changes.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. As you reach the edge of that tunnel, you feel a familiar sensation, a force that repels you. It is very strong. Make a wits alertness roll.
Standard?
Yes. Is that your one success, Katya?
Mm-hmm.
All right. Katya and Argyle, you both note as you kind of push against unintentionally without realizing you're pushing against something. There is a light electric shock that kind of briefly runs through you. It's not extremely painful, it's just enough to jolt you back.
There's something not here. Try the orb now.
Nicholas will take it out and hand it to Katya again. She's the one who knows most about the occult.
She'll speak the words.
You speak the Latin phrase, and again, this doesn't seem to be an illusion. Though it does seem like one of those wards again. Perhaps more powerful in some way. The other one didn't give you that electric shock.
This seems to be a more powerful ward.
Argyle is going to try and press through. Just like they did in the rat room.
All right. What is everyone else doing before I handle that?
Seeing that Argyle is taking the initiative, Katya will watch. She assumes that since there was a more powerful sensation, this thing could actually be damaging. In which case, she is not looking forward to going through.
I will take that willpower roll, difficulty 8, Argyle. Alright, you start to make some progress. You have not fully made it through, but you feel it give like it was giving above.
Seeing that nothing horrible is happening to Argyle so far, she will attempt to go through as well. Elned will attempt to go through as well.
And Katya, I'm going to need another wit stealth roll. Same difficulty.
Okay.
Alright. Helen had 2 successes. You as well start to make some progress. It does feel a bit stronger than the one you went up against above. Perhaps thicker, if you could describe wards in such a way. Like there's more to push through. It's kind of like wading against the tide as it pushes against you. You have to maintain concentration to not lose ground. What is Nicholas doing during this time?
He was watching to see what they're doing, but as they intend to press through, so does he. It'll be much more difficult for him.
I guess Katya can't really pull. We already tried pulling through the ward and had no luck with that. But, yeah, she'll try to get through.
Was that your roll? 5 dice?
No, I'm going to roll now.
Well, that's right, that's your wisdom. Okay, you also seem to be making some progress. I'll take a perception alertness roll. Let's see. Yeah, anybody can give me this roll.
Will detail oriented apply?
Yes. Alright, no progress for Nicholas. He's finding it very difficult to get through. As far as noticing things, 1 success from Katya and Argyle. 5.
What's the difficulty again?
Standard. Okay. Argyle and Katya, you think there's something changing about the scene above you. Elenid, 3 successes. You can tell that some of the birds are starting to fly lower, and perhaps even taking notice. Nicholas, you can tell the birds are taking notice, but beyond that, at some of the higher ledges, figures are starting to peer out below.
As in humanoid figures?
Yes.
We are not alone.
Get through the barrier, quick.
I believe that's easier said than done.
I suggest we do the opposite.
How many figures?
Are you stopping to turn around and look?
I mean, no. How many figures? He's still pressing forward.
How many do I see?
Increasing all the time by one, maybe two at a time. Here and there, a figure emerges. You look up higher, another ledge, another one emerges.
Many.
We've no choice to fight them. We've got to push forward. Hope the barrier holds them at bay too.
I do agree to some extent. If we retreat, they could very well fall upon us while we are getting out of here.
Alright, Argyle, you make a little bit more progress. You think you're almost through it. Elena, that is a botch.
Yeah, I've been having those tonight.
Yeah. You are forced back quite violently. You actually get shocked a bit more strongly and are thrown back, sliding back into the dirt. Take a level of lethal. The rest of you around can see a brief arc, like a small bit of lightning, shoot out, of pushing her away.
Well, she says she gets to her feet. It electrocutes.
And Katya, how many successes are you up to?
5.
Oh, you're at 5? I see 4.
Yeah, I gave you 2 willpower rolls.
Yeah, I see 3 successes and 1.
You see 1?
Oh, I was looking at the wrong one. You have 5. You pass through at the same moment that Elena is blasted away. You're on the other side looking back now. Argyle as well. You managed to pass through a couple seconds later. Nicholas, by this point, with your heightened senses, you can tell that there are several dozen figures looking down now, and the birds are perched very closely, watching you. A voice echoes down from on high. I'd wondered where you went off to. I see you made it farther than I expected.
From above in the main chamber?
Yes. It echoes and it bounces around a couple times.
So that I'm
yeah, go ahead.
So that I'm clear on the picture, is this to enter the room or to go past the room? This force field.
To go past, to exit into the dark tunnel that Argyle saw that connects into what might be sewers. You and Argyle are through and can continue on and leave this place. But Elenid and Nicholas are still in the main chamber.
Okay.
Can I get back through with effort, or is it a one-way ward?
With effort, much like the ward above, it seems to ward vampires in both directions.
Argyle's going to start trying to push back through.
Okay. What do Elenid and Nicholas do?
Nicholas sees no hope of getting through this, so he's going to wait and see what happens.
Okay. Argyle, couple successes on your way to move back. And Elenid?
She doesn't like this. They are sitting ducks.
What exactly did you think was going to happen when you came down here?
Well, I was rather hoping that we'd find you by yourself, because all your lackeys are tranced out watching through birds.
Yes, we found your handiwork. As grisly as your forebears and your masters. And you consider us villains in your eyes.
One puppet master is no better than another.
And with that, you will break through and come back to the main chamber. And you too can now see more clearly. Looking up, there are a few dozen faces looking down at you, past the small cloud of crows and bats and birds.
Over his shoulder to Katja. If anyone but Ethelred comes down from up on high, you burn the bag.
Katja will look around for a flame source.
There are no flames or lights on that side of the barrier. In fact, navigating that sewer beyond would be quite difficult, you think?
They will do what they can to keep this out of enemy hands.
And what is Elena doing?
she is more glancing around for any place they might be able to take cover should they decide to open fire.
There's
Or
not
rather,
much.
should they decide to hail down arrows.
If you went back the way you came, in that hallway, that would be cover, or going forward into the tunnel if you can make it. That's really your only cover, otherwise it's quite exposed.
And where Ethelred is that something we would have passed coming down here?
You don't know. You passed many holes and caverns and little cave entrances and exits on the way down. Probably some of them must have led out to these ledges. You destroyed one of my libraries.
And you destroyed lives.
As of you.
That's debatable.
I have to think for a moment, decide what he would actually choose here.
Elned would speak in a low voice to her companion. We need to get to cover, shelter from whatever they're going to throw down here.
Argyle just grins. And then what? The shite we're after is right there.
Do you have a better idea?
I might. You're a man who values commerce, bargains, deals, and information. We've all those right here.
You have a small sampling of the library, one of the libraries you destroyed.
Aye. But I'm betting the contents of that bag your neonate was collecting a good deal more valuable than the entire wealth of what was destroyed.
Especially this one. Actually, that might still be on Argyle, but the scroll that was compelled for us to destroy it.
Yeah, I'm not giving that one up just yet. One of those scrolls, my companions here felt an unnatural compulsion to go and destroy. Willing to bet that's quite a pretty penny's worth of knowledge and dirt on someone.
They all are. I cannot speak to whichever scroll this is.
Well, you say you can't speak to it. I say you probably can. Unless, of course, that particular scroll was maybe dirt you had on a usurper.
Not that you are in much of a position to bargain now. What would you want in exchange?
It's rather simple. You tell your kin to hold their ground. You come down, and we settle this. The Highland way.
Will you wait until I sleep and tear my heart out? Is that the Highland way?
No, we do it now. The winner walks away with the bag.
Tell me why I shouldn't just have you all destroyed and take it back.
You're probably fast. Not thinking you're that fast. I'm willing to bet Katya can shred the entire contents rather fast. Make it all useless. Besides, what an example would you be setting for your kin here? Your zealots.
I would have expected more from one of your kind. We have played the games of the High Clans for so long. Do you really expect me to play by these made-up rules you've constructed?
But they're your rules. See, you put people in a precarious position, offering an ultimatum they can't possibly meet, and then yank the rug out from underneath them when they're down.
I'm afraid I don't know what you're talking about, but those who follow me have no desire to see me martyr myself for no reason.
I think you know exactly what I'm talking about. Trying to compel Alanid to simply throw it all away and walk away in shame and defeat by threatening a goal.
We all have our unpleasant ways of dealing business.
Hey, but some of us change our tune here and there.
Perhaps dear Katya down there can tear up this scroll. before I and those who follow me can get it back. Perhaps I will give you this one opportunity to leave with your own lives in exchange for it.
That sounds a bit like fear.
The scroll that you possess is valuable. I will not lie about this. But it is not of value which I value over my own life.
No, but you do value your position, your reputation. Right now, it sounds like you're losing face. Cowering up high, far away from the forces of the Covenant that you've taught all these fine young Cainites to fear and hate. Well, here we stand. It's your move. One prior, other than you, sets foot outside their hole. Every document is destroyed, and you gain nothing.
Does it speak for the rest of you? He says, calling out. You would all perish for this scroll of value that means nothing to you but much to me, for a chance to escape with your own lives.
You see, here's the thing. I am not certain you would let us escape with our own lives. You don't seem the type.
That is the gamble you must make. For surely you will not come out of here alive otherwise. As I said before, no more second chances. No more riders coming in to save you. This I offer to you because of this one moment of your ingenuity, or perhaps good fortune.
I've
Argyle's
already
going to turn
said my piece.
Argyle's going to turn the tables on him and look at the rest of the gathered priors. Does he speak for all of you? You'd go on being pariahs, martyrs, looked down upon, trod upon, for one Cainite's ego and hubris.
You see, Argyle, that is the exact wrong argument to make, because it is for all of those reasons you stated that they follow me.
Because of your hurt feelings. Well, you must be a much better storyteller than I.
I do think that your man Apples will tell a different story. You just tried to have him destroyed not long ago.
Bunch of ghouls throwing acid at one of your own.
Unfortunately, we all know Apple's betrayed us in the end. He is not the first or the last prior that has not seen the vision of what we could be.
So it's a case of if thine right hand offends thee, cut it off, is it? Or rather, like my right hand.
I will ask you one more time. Discard the scroll and you will be spared, for this night alone, with enough time to find shelter above before the day. Decline and I will take it from you. Pieces or ashes, whatever remains.
Priors of Norwick. As far as we're concerned, we found an empty chamber with naught but Godric within it. That's the story the Covenant will hear. If you hold your ground, stand fast, and let him face his own justice.
There is no movement from the figures above, watching down at you.
And I'll take a blood oath to that effect.
What's Nicholas doing during this time?
He's considering what his options are. I mean, other than the few items that he's interjected, he will stand fast with his companions, whatever they decide. Stay or go. You can hear me, right?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Alright, after a couple more moments of silence, the voice echoes down again. I will take your defiance as no. Then this is where your tomb will be. And at that, the session will end, and we will resolve this next week.